All right, are you ready for our butterfly craft today? So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. If you have a printer, you can print off the pieces to make the butterfly, and then you can cut them out, use them as a pattern and cut them out onto colored paper if you have colored paper. Otherwise, you can print out just the butterfly like this and color it with crayons. That would be fine too. The other thing you can do is if you don't have a printer, then you can just pause the video right here like this, and you can have mom or dad help you draw that out on a piece of paper if you want to color. All right, or you can draw it out and then trace the pieces. So whatever works best for you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am using a dark blue for my background because I'm going to pretend that it's the sky. And I'm going to start with my head and body piece. It looks like this. And I'm just going to finish the circle around his head. And I'm going to add his eyes. And I'm just using a black marker, but you can use a crayon. And then he has a big smile, probably because he is so happy to be out of that chrysalis. All right, so then I'm going to, before I glue anything down, I'm just gonna lay it out on my paper to make sure that I have it where I want it to go. All right, so I made my top wings blue, and I'm gonna go ahead and put those underneath of him like that, but I'm not gluing anything down yet. And then I made his bottom wings pink. And you guys are such good artists, I'll bet you can just cut some triangles out of paper. In fact, if you're a first grader, this would be a great time to practice cutting your shapes. You could cut 2 big triangles, 2 smaller triangles, a rectangle, and a circle. All the shapes that we've just learned. So that would be a perfect way to do it. Okay, I have him laid out. I think that that's the way I want him to be. I want to leave enough room at the top because I'm going to want to put his antennas on at the very end. So now that I have him the way that I want him to be, I'm going to carefully lift off the body. So I don't want the other ones to move. I want them to stay right where they are. And then I'm just going to go and put some glue underneath of them. And of course my glue is sticking. Because if I'm doing a recording, of course something has to mess up, right? That's how it usually is. Okay, I got it working. All right, so I'm going to just put some glue on there. And I'm going to glue it back down. And then I'm just going to lift up the edges. Put some glue underneath. So I have them exactly where I want them, and I do not want to have to figure out where to put them again. So I'm just going to put some glue underneath there like that. Lift that one up. Put some glue under it. And then I can go back and add a little bit more glue after I have it the way I want. Okay, then I'm going to take my head and body. I'm going to turn it over, put some glue on there, and lay it down. Now, once I have my head and my body on there, and I have things where I want them to be, and I know they're going to stay there, then I can go back and put glue under the corners to help hold that down a little bit better. And did you notice I don't have a glue stick here? I'm just using squirty glue, which sometimes it makes the picture a little bit bumpy, but that's okay. I just am using what I have, and that's what you need to do, is you just need to use what you have around your house. Okay, now I'm ready to put my antennas on. And those are just little rectangles also with a little curve at the top of it. So, wow, I didn't think about that earlier, but boys and girls, this is a great way to practice all those shapes you just learned in math. Because remember, our math test is coming up on Monday, so you're going to want to know what all those shapes are. All right, so I have my butterfly and he is done. But now I want to do one more thing. I want to write about the story that we read for Farfalina and Marcel. Do you remember when we did our butterfly writing about the life cycle and we said first, next, then, finally? Well, I want to do the same kind of writing, but I wanted it to be about the story for Farfalina and Marcel. So on my top wing, I'm going to write first, because I'm going to write what happened first in the story. And then I'm going to write next. Then, and finally. Okay, now if you don't remember the story, you are always welcome to go back and look at the video. It's on YouTube and you can go back and listen to it again. And if you're tired of the way that I read it, I'll bet you could even find somebody else that reads it on YouTube to listen to. Okay, so what happened first in our story of Farfalina and Marcel? They met each other, right? And they became what? Best friends. So I'm going to write first. Now I want you to watch something because I've noticed this in your writing. When you write the word first, that is the first word. And then you're using a comma. They is not going to begin with an uppercase letter. So I've noticed that sometimes when I write first, next, then, and finally for you, you start the next word with an uppercase letter. And you don't need to do that. The word first is going to have an uppercase letter, and then it's going to be lowercase until we have a period, okay? So first, they became best friends. And if you want to write something different, maybe you want to write first, they met when Farfalina was chewing a hole in the leaf. You could do that, that's fine. Just make sure that the things that you're writing are going in order. You wouldn't say first Farfalina became a butterfly because that happened towards the end, right? Okay, so first they became best friends. Next, okay, so I already started the word next with an uppercase letter. Next, they, what? What are some of the games they played together when they became best friends? They played hide and seek. Next, they played, or we could just say next they played games. Next they played together. Next they played together. And how often did they play together? Every day. Yeah, okay. Then, what happened? Remember, Farfalina climbed up into the tree, and what happened when she climbed up there? And what happened while she was up there? What happened to Marcel while she was up there? They both changed, didn't they? Then, they both changed. And again, then is an uppercase letter, they is not. Then they both changed, and when they both changed, they couldn't find each other, right? Then they both changed and couldn't find each other. All right, and then finally what happened at the very end? They realized who they were, and They were best friends again, weren't they? They flew south together. Finally, they realized who they were. And they flew south together. I like to think that they flew to Mexico and spent some time on the beach together. Okay, together is one of our sight words, so I hope that you will spell that correctly. If you want to mute this or pause it so that you can do your writing, that's fine. This isn't a test or anything. I would love to see a picture of it, but you don't have to turn it into me. And you don't have to write the same things I wrote. I would like you to write about your favorite part of the story. All right, we have 2 things left today. We have a 100 mystery chart picture that I told you about, and I didn't ever get it loaded. And even though we don't have time to do it together today, I wrote all the colors and numbers on the module. So when you click on it, it will have all the colors and the numbers that you need to color. So that'll be kind of fun because you can find those numbers and do it on your own if you want to. You don't have to. And then we have cooking class coming up the very end of today. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun one. See you then. Bye.